with us in December. I was like, well, okay, why not? And so I started going from Jacksonville, Texas to Dallas on the weekends. Well, to Arlington, to the original Metroplex on the Sundays to work out with them, and they showed me tricks and gave me tips on powerlifting and everything. Ended up winning my class at the Beast Feast, and then it just kind of spiraled from there. I went um, back to Jacksonville, and they were opening a gym in Jacksonville. I was going to Anytime Fitness because that's all we had, and I heard that they were opening a new gym in Jacksonville, so I went to go check it out. And the owner, Brad Duncan, he owns Raw Iron, and he said, "Well, do you have a coach?" I said, "For?" He said, "For powerlifting." I was like, "No." He said, "Well, if you'd like, I will help you out and we'll teach you some things. And then we're going to get you entered in your first sanctioned meet in May." And my eyes just kind of, oh no, okay, whatever. So that's what we did. He started training me, and we got ready for the meet in May. And what we found out during that time is my bench press is my strongest lift. And so went to the meet, and he's like, "Okay, here's the deal." He said, "I want you to go to this meet and we're going to qualify for the Olympia." And I'm going, "What?" Well, first of all, I'm going, I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay, let's just go do this. Just guide me through it. I'm right there with you. Well, he did. He came in, he trained me and taught me that wasn't a lot of time. We had, 5 months to work on, learning the basics and the setup and how to actually lift and engage your lats and pinch press and getting your squat depth and everything. So we got there and we did that and went in May. And he said the first thing he told me before the meet is he said, "If you bench press more than you squat, I'm going to be so angry." And that's exactly what I did. I went there and I won my weight class and age group, and but I bench pressed 187 pounds and squatted 181 pounds. So he wasn't happy, but he was. But that meet qualified me for the Olympia because of my bench press. And then that was in May, and in September we went to the Olympia, and I got my first world record at the Olympia that year at 185 pounds. So we decided, well, we'll keep going. So I started going to quite a few USPA meets, and just kind of every meet, of course, I improved and I improved and I improved. And the next year went to the Olympia again, and it was COVID year. So it was kind of it was good, but it was just kind of, you know, not the same atmosphere as it was when it was at the expo with with the bodybuilding and everything in one area. This was at the Paris Hotel and Casino. So went there, got second world record. I'm like, wow, I'm on to something here. So it just encouraged me to train harder. And during that time, I was lucky enough that there was a group that donated like um like a year's worth of coaching from a world renowned coach. So at the first Olympia, I won a year's worth of coaching from Josh Bryant. And I was like, "Oh, wow, should I do this?" And so, of course, Brad, my coach, was there with me. And he goes, I said, "Do I do this?" I said, "I don't want to, take away from you because you were the one that helped me get to this point." He said, "Girl," he said, "when an opportunity comes like that, around like that, you take it and you run." So that's exactly what he did. So we just kept training harder and harder and went to USPA Nationals and qualified for the World Championships 2 years in a row. And in 2022, qualified for the Worlds. And I'd been training from June until the they were in October in Orange Beach. And the last week of training, I was going to do coach was going to just have me do one more bench day, one more deadlift day, and one more squat day. Got through my squat day and bench day. It was great. I was on track to squat like 315, bench 226, and my deadlift was going to be like 360 something, 363. And when I went to go pull that last deadlift, I moved wrong. And when I came up and hurt my back terribly. So I was out of the worlds in squat and deadlift, but I was still going. I was like, I was working too hard. So I went and I did bench only. And I got there and I got a 203 bench press, even with no leg drive or anything that year. So I felt good about that because it was like doing a Lars press. You're just laying there and benching with all your upper body strength. So I was happy with that. And I won my class and the open at the world championships. And after that, I was like, well, what am I going to do after this? I mean, I know that, I took about 6 months and I was just, doing a little arm work and everything because my back was not cooperating. So I went through a lot of therapy and stuff. And finally, I was like, I want to do something other than this. I've got to do something. And I was doing so. I went to Gator Fitness and walked in the door and talked to one of the owners, Holly Hines. She and her fiance Gator Gates own Gator Fitness. And I walked in there and I talked to Holly. And this was in January of 23. No, 24. Of 2024. I walked in there and she goes, well, it's January. She goes, we're going to have you ready for the Alabama in August. I was like, okay. So she was helping me with my training, and she got me in touch with Justin Sweeney in Madison, Alabama. I mean, yeah, Madison, Alabama. And he has champ training, and he helped me with my nutrition and all those things, and kind of guided me as well. So I was lucky enough that I had Holly, I had Justin, and then of course Gator Gates. He's a pro and he's been bodybuilding for years, and he was always helping with tips and tricks, and you need to do this, you need to do that. So, but I mean, they guided me all the way through it. And in August, I won the figure division, the overall figure at the Alabama, and went to the North American. And while we were sitting there going, well, if you're competing in figure, go ahead and do the bodybuilding and physique, and let's just see where you fit, which class you fit better into. So went to the North American that year, and that was 24, and placed fourth place in the physique division in the 50 and over. And so I was like, okay, so it's like, okay, that was impressive. So now I'm hooked. Like, we can do better next year. So last year went and did the North American again, and this time I placed third in bodybuilding. So, and I did figure, and I did physique, and I did bodybuilding. But then it was like, I never was. I don't know. I wasn't real savvy with the figure division. And so I get off stage and I'm walking out, and Gator and his coach Turner Riddle were standing outside, and they said, have you learned anything? And I was like, what do you mean, have I learned? Have you learned that you don't need to do the heels? Lose the heels.
I heard plenty of stories of ladies who were doing figure before they transitioned to physique or women's bodybuilding. The heels, I think for that division, it's for women who are very prissy, who like the heels. Some ladies will love it.
Right.
Some ladies they like to get those clog hoppers off their feet. I know one
Right.
lady told me she one thing she did was she took a blow dryer and heat up the laces so you can get them loose, so you can take them off her
Right.
feet.
I did that. I did that because I was like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
But that was funny. They stopped me. Have you learned anything? Lose the hills. So, well, and then as I progressed, then of course, Holly and I were talking, and she goes, I really feel like you need to make a move as far as coaches go. She goes, you're progressing. And she goes, and if you want to go to the top, she goes, you need a coach that can get you to the top. She goes, or one that's going to, like, and so I was like, well, who do you suggest? So I went with Dave Palumbo. That's who coaches her, and he's coaching me now. And off season was insane. We made so much growth. It was, I mean, it was unbelievable. And it was just the change in the diet and the change in the training program. We did the training splits were just totally different. And wow, it was like every time I kept looking in the mirror, it was like, wow, that's more muscle than I thought. And I did have I did have the benefit of, with powerlifting, I did have a little more muscle density than a lot of people have when they start bodybuilding because of that heavy lifting all the time. But he did. And now the transition, now that I'm in prep for a show, the difference from last year to this year even is really impressive. I
Mhm.
don't mean to sound conceited, but it's I mean it's impressive just seeing the difference.
Man, you don't need something. That's the thing is, you got to toot your own horn. You can't expect somebody else to do it for you. It's not being
Right,
conceited. It's being confident. It's one thing.
right,
Conceited sometimes some people overdo it, but knowing basically, excuse my language, man, knowing your shit, you are
right,
a shit pop. And Dave Palumbo, I know a friend of mine. His name is Keith Williams. He worked with Dave. We talked with pose and stuff like that. I know a couple, the Fashones, John and Sharon. They worked with him. I mean, even he's one of the. I would say very popular gentleman. There's a video I got to show of you. It was like a few years he did go. He was on the episode Conan O'Brien. He's dressed like the Hulk. He says, "Hulk need love, Hulk need love, Hulk need love, Hulk make Hulk angry." I gotta send it to you. It's funny,
you'll have to
Yeah. But I think I've interviewed quite a few ladies who have either they're still doing powerlifting or have done powerlifting because it does bring that muscle density because you're training for strength and then you build that strength from the muscle from the heavy lifting. And then some ladies who stepped away from it because it got to the point they did get a strain on their back, their joints, the heavy lifting. I mean, and they found bodybuilding because they share some of the aspects of training as powerlifting, but it changes a bit. And you mentioned your coach and actually your friend, as you
right.
know, shout out to the lovely Mrs. Holly Joe Higgins, if I want to get your name right.
Heinz.
Hines,
Heinz.
Hines, and she just turned pro just last weekend at the Junior Nats in
Right.
Tennessee. Congratulations in figure. We're hoping, in the future, I will happily have her as a guest and share her thoughts, especially her plans for upcoming season. So after that experience, especially your first time competing, what was it like for you? Especially coming in here, you're in your early 50s and you're competing with these girls who are like in their 20s and 30s and they're young and tight and right, but you're coming here with this great muscle density from powerlifting.
Oh well, the muscle density. I mean, I knew I had the muscle. I didn't have the posing down, like, and it was kind of intimidating. I was scared to death. Scared to death getting on the stage the first time. First time I was on stage, I was shaking. I was going, this is crazy. But I learned a lot, the first show I did, and then I went from the Alabama to the North American, and just watching people and seeing and taking, and it was so, the thing about what I found about the sport is that everybody was willing to help me to improve from the Alabama to the North American, and even the girls backstage, they were amazing. when we're back there just getting in our poses and stuff, somebody might come and give you a tip, not trying to interfere. They were just being cordial. And that's the part I loved about it. Everybody was there being supportive. And there are tons of girls backstage, you know, ready to get on stage. And they're just watching and helping and encouraging everybody. I mean, it reminded me so much of the powerlifting community. That's how they're alike. It was like, it's like a big family, just like it was with powerlifting. And I was blessed with the powerlifting community that I was involved with for so long. They were awesome, and I just felt like the same thing was happening. You meet more people, and they're encouraging. They're showing you things that just giving you tips and tricks that you might. Well, I definitely didn't know. You know, you know, turn your leg this way, turn your toes out this way. And it made all the difference in the posing. It really did.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, posing is a very important part of the practice. Next to the weightlifting, posing is one of the things you have to really work on the most because it's presentation. Because
right.
like you just some I know some ladies that they be shaking because how to try to position their body, but it's something. It's part of the routine just as much as lifting or what you eat. That's it's like
Right.
it's necessary.
Right. That that's what's so great about it. It was like you sit there and you think, well, you're doing your food and you're lifting and everything. But there's one thing that I'm seeing too. I mean, there might be somebody that comes in not as conditioned as a lot of the other people, but because they've got that posing down to a science. And it's like just a beautiful movement, and the way they can take and position their body to where they just look phenomenal. And you're like, okay, this shows you the posing is the make or break. You either do it or you don't. You can't go up there. And I made that mistake. I mean, I didn't know how important it was, and I was more focused the whole time. Like I said, for 2 years we were focused on, we're going to get these figure poses down, we're going to get these figure poses down, and then we'll see how. And we went through the physique and bodybuilding poses, but we never really concentrated on them. So this year it's been more of a concentration of really, getting into the technicalities of getting these bodybuilding poses. And I'm lucky enough to have a friend here that is a coach, and he does posing and stuff, Jason Adams, with DNA Fitness, and he's really helped me a lot with that. And I was surprised at how big the community is in this little Florence, Alabama area
Hmm.
at Gator Fitness alone. I mean, there's 10 competitors in prep right now or better,
Hmm.
just to go to the shows, and that's unusual in this small of an area. But
Well, Well, like I said, this bodybuilding, even though it's a small it's a very fringe and niche sport, but the community has spanned over the years. I talked to ladies as far as Australia. You had an interview with a lady who lives in Great Britain. Germany. I mean, also ladies in south of the border as far as Mexico and even one lady Chile. It's even though it may be a small community per se, but it kind of grows bit by bit.
right.
We have here a guest here popping in here. Shout out to our man here, John Lindsay says, "Hi Terry, sun's out, guns out." Yeah, she's wearing a tank top, Gator Fitness tank top. Her arms
I
out.
got the gator on.
Yeah, got to put a gator. Got the gator. So, but yeah, I think it's good we have that. Same fundamentals you have from your powerlifting. That same camaraderie, sisterhood, brotherhood, friendship. That is, I think, what really helps as a bodybuilder.
Right. Right. I mean, and I can tell you, and it really calmed my nerves backstage, because being new to it, and I'm going out here, and in powerlifting you're not in a bikini going. You got your singlet on, and you got your tall socks on, and you're going out there. And I mean, I was terrified the first time, Terrified. So having those people back there to take a deep breath, calm down. You can do this. You've got the physique. Now you just got to go use it. so,
Yeah, it's.
so
I think
now,
it's the thing about being confident. Like we were talking earlier, how you mentioned your friend said how she's shy, and then I'm like this. Um, if you shy, why in the hell are you walking butt naked, all up, tanned up, cheeks out, and you saying you shy? It's crazy. When I have conversations, they tell me say I'm shy. How can you be shy when you watch bunch of have bunch of people? I don't know. That's some shit you telling me that. That's some shit.
I mean, it is. I mean, and and I guess you can be modest, but then again, all that modesty, I had one person ask me about it, and it's like, if you're modest, you might as well just get ready to not be. You start practicing walking around.
Well, it's a situation. Sometimes you have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable for sure.
Mhm.
And and I for me, it was like I was watching, as you get older, your body's changing in ways that you don't expect anyway. So you're like, I was like, whenever I go to pose, am I going to have, you know, the saggy skin that I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and there's just the little things that I was kind of uncomfortable with because I'm looking at these girls on stage in their 20s. Well, of course you're not going to look like them. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, but you just go out there and bring your best self and your best look, and and practice that posing. That's like I said, get that posing down. That's huge.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that I think everybody's not going to look like the next person ahead of them. You're going to bring whatever you bring. You
Right,
know, if you do have issues that, don't spend too much time overthinking it. Just go out there and do your best.
right.
So, and she sent me some information. She has, I think, 4 kids and how many grandkids?
6 grandkids.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And how old are your grandbabies?
I have one that's 20, one that's 15, one that's 11, one's 8, one's 4, and one's 3.
Ah, that 3 year old, I know. That's the baby. That's your, I know that's your favorite. You love all
He
your
thinks
grandbabies
he's
too.
my favorite even.
Yeah, everyone knows the baby, the last one. Like I grew up in a family. There's my mother's father had 6 children. Technically had seven. But I had a semen that passed at childbirth, and there were 6 of us. I'm the next to last. As I'm in the terminology, I'm the knee baby. I have an
Right,
older brother. I have 3 older sisters. My father had a son before he met my mother, and I have a half sister after they broke up, and I have a younger brother. He's the baby. I mean,
right.
yeah. And if you're with your kids, the middle child, we had to fight for moments of love. We had to fight for
Yeah,
y'all.
the fights come on. I'm the
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
child.
You understand? You understand?
I
Thank
know
you.
it.
We had to, mama, daddy, we had to fight for our love because the firstborn, that's daddy's pride. That's the one that
Right.
starts. And the baby, that's mama's last one. That's the one that gets a lot of the,
Yeah, that gets a lot of love. Yeah.
yeah, a lot more love. But we had to fight for our love. It's in the middle. So as a
Oh,
kid,
I did.
yeah, and your son, he is he still in the military?
He is not. He is at home. He's actually going to school to become a pastor.
What to
And
like? My oldest nephew, actually my youngest nephew, my oldest niece was in the army, and anybody who has served our country, I don't say thank you for your service because service is not what they. This is what they're not provoking. I would say to anybody who served our country, I say as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifice they made on behalf of us and this country, because thank you is never enough.
oh,
Because you're not providing a service, you're going out there risking your life and health. Maybe sometimes you're not even in the action, but you are stepping up where most people. I was thinking about growing when I was young. I was thinking about the Marine Corps, but then I got a job.
right,
So when you get a
right.
job, you start making money. So there you go. So and what's that? They ever been to your shows? Your kids and grandkids
Do I?
have they
My
been to your shows?
they've been to some of my powerlifting meets, but because of the distance they are away, and I was here, and then I was in Pittsburgh, and my son and his family is in Tampa, and the rest of my family is in Texas. So it kind of made it difficult, especially with school and the kids, because it always falls. It seemed like the shows that I have been in have been right at the beginning of school,
Um,
so it was kind of hard to get them. They did get to come to a couple of my powerlifting meets, and of course, my granddaughter's like, "Oh, I'm
yes.
strong like Nanner," and
Yes.
everybody Nanner.
She go in. She like you can't say little kids had the crazy name. I used to call my mom, ma. But yeah, I think little kids even love when you see, especially their parents or their grandparents, who said like she probably in like in the park said, "My grandma's stronger than your grandma." And so yeah, yeah. And you're a teacher, so how long you been doing that? And what do you teach?
I teach special education. This it will be my 33rd year teaching.
Well, we thank our teachers. I mean, I know I didn't give too much of a hard time when it's come up, but I do appreciate it. Especially you teaching special needs children. I have a nephew, he is autistic, and
Right.
and I appreciate it when they were helping him when he was going to school. You know,
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's
have a grandson that's autistic, and and it's not that I wasn't as compassionate, but it just kind of brings out more. I understand more about where they're coming from because I saw it from the beginning. Whenever I was teaching kids with autism before, I didn't get to see like how they had to transpire from, you know, beginning to where they're at. And it's really interesting to see how different they are, and the strengths that they bring, even though they may not be able to express the same way we do. They're very, very smart. They're
Mhm.
very smart.
I remember when my brother was bringing my nephew around, he used to cry when my mom got new because he wasn't comfortable with it. But then with me, because me and my brother look so much similar, he looks at me and say, I think one time he put his hand in his face and says, "You look like the daddy, but you're not the daddy." It's like how, especially his face, like he's looking at me saying, like he sees something he recognized, but it's
Right,
it's not certain, We feel
right,
comfortable with this. I remember because my mother and I were taking care of her for a good while, and she got sick. And I remember when he wasn't attached to me, but the last day before his mother came to pick him up, he was holding on to me, and I felt like I was losing my child. I mean,
right.
Kamarian, his name was Cam, and that was kind of a sad day. I have not seen him since then. He's 13 now. I've seen some pictures
Oh
of him.
wow.
I would say I would love to see him because I do. I'm gonna cry like you will see a big man cry like a baby.
No, they will. They'll capture your heart. And just seeing the growth. Their growth is so much. It's not that it's any more important than that, but watching them succeed through the variables that they have to encounter every day. It just, I don't know. I just love that part of my job is watching the growth. Not just of, the students that are autistic, but just all of them, because they come from various disabilities and everything, but they want to satisfy you so much, and watching them grow the whole time, even though sometimes it becomes a tedious task for them.
Yeah.
And then the meltdowns and stuff, but it's okay. They're making it. And then when they do finally go, I got it. And it's like, then we have these huge celebrations, and it's
Mhm.
just awesome.
Yeah, I think the one thing you have to be patient as an adult. I mean, some people don't have that patience. I learned it a long time ago because I'm within your age group. I'm going to be 52 in November, and I've seen my nieces and nephews grow. I don't have children of my own. That's one thing that I could
Right.
do with not being a father. Last week it was Father's Day. My nephew came by and said, "Hey, Happy Father's Day." I said, "Boy, I'm not no daddy." He said, "You're a daddy." So, he said, "I just want to give it to you." No, 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 no. When they have Uncle Day, okay, but this is your day. You and my nephews and my brother, he's been gone for 20 years. His daughter, I still love her like she's my own.
Right.
It's good when we see our children grow and develop and,
Right.
and being what you're doing, or a woman of your age and of standing, and doing something that's very extreme, especially bodybuilding. Because if you look at bodybuilding, most people don't know much about it. Everybody think about, I just take some pills and I get big as Arnold. Oh, long, oh, long.
Right. That's the first thing everybody says. I want to eat what you're eating, and I was like, or what are you taking? I'm gonna take what you're taking. I was like, it's not. That's not how it works.
No, it's not how
You
it
know.
works.
Why don't you call me, or I'll call you when I get up. Whenever I go to the gym first thing in the morning, we'll go do the cardio together. Then, whenever I come back, and then we'll go back in the afternoon to go train, I'll call you then too.
Oh, say,
Oops, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You know what? My phone is busy. Oh, I got an appointment. I see you when I see you. So, yeah.
I
I bet, yeah. I mean, people just don't understand the aspects of it. Because one thing is, I learned from my conversations with you ladies and other people that it's not just the gym, but also in the kitchen where it starts.
right.
And
Yeah.
what you're eating is you have to be clean. You just can't eat burgers and fries all the time. You can't eat this and that. You have to have things that really helps your process. So, folks, what we have here, the lovely Mrs. Ivy here, we're going to do this. We're going to jump to social media for a minute. You want
Okay.
to check out the link description of this live. You want to follow her, support her. Support does help for these competitors because this is a tough sport. This sport is mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and can be financially draining. So if you're interested in maybe her upcoming show she's planning on doing, you want some support, maybe a little, a little bread doesn't hurt or something. Reach out and genuine interest, but guys, and a lot of my one thing I got Miss Terry, I have a crime. I'm a muscle person. Oh, y'all ladies with the muscles, y'all cite me. But there's guys out there also cite them too. But the thing is, guys, be respectful. Don't be weird. She has a son. He was in the military. She got grandbabies. I don't want to hear somebody getting jumped by her family because it's stupid. So we check on her, shoot out to her, show respect. This is a lady. So we're gonna jump here into social media for a little bit. You want to follow the link in the description live. And she posted here, and this is her friend, Holly. Congratulations to her. Welcome to the IFBB. What was her thoughts did she call you when she got the pro card?
Oh, I was there.
Oh, was there? Oh yeah.
I
A friend of
was
mine was there
there.
too. Yeah.
I was going to that. You couldn't stop me from being there with whenever she went to that show.
And which one of these? This is the one, the youngest one?
That is my grandson that is autistic. He is Xander.
He's a cute little boy. Got that
That's
big.
him.
Oh, yeah. Is this your son's son or one of your daughters?
That is my son and his wife Michelle.
Ah,
His
she's
name is Dakota. Dakota Michelle. And that's them.
Yeah, it is. You know what? There's an old saying: a boy's best friend is his mother. You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's me and Dakota right there.
yeah. Handsome young boy. He
That's
just
my boy.
he's just as pretty as his mama.
And
Yeah.
whenever he got his, that was the day he got his Ranger scroll, and I was like, uh, right there.
Uh, the Rangers. Rangers all the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was,
Much respect. Much respect. Much respect. I
of
know.
course.
Is he your only son, or is there?
I have another son that is 26. He's not on social media much. He's out. He's a little cowboy. He is not a little cowboy. He's a grown cowboy. He works on a ranch and he calf ropes and team ropes, and he's just in a whole different scene. But he literally works every day from 4 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night. And I actually got to see him in November for Thanksgiving, and hopefully I'll get to see him again soon.
Wait, she proud of him. Remember, Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
And he is definitely the cowboy for
Yeah, and
sure.
she's you're still doing some, some little bit. Even though you're not competitive as powerlifting, you still enjoy doing some fashion deadlifts. Hello, hello. Hey, something. I think something would happen. Let me check. I think I lost her, folks. Uh, we lost her. We just lost the lovely Miss Terry. Give us a few minutes. She'll come back. So while she's still away, here she is. Here she is. You know. Hey,
Hey,
somebody called you, right?
yes.
It happens. Technical difficulties. It happens. But we're going to go back a little bit here where we were looking into your IG here, and here she is doing some powerlifting. You still miss doing the powerlifting tournaments?
I do miss it sometimes. I really do. I miss that, seeing my friends and stuff that I travel with. I have some friends, Mike and Michael Port and Hina Patel. They're in Colorado, and they really helped me a lot. And then I had Donnie and Jody Duncan, and one of my best friends was Chris Kearney. He's a all time. He's got the all time world record. And then I met people like I got to hang out with people like Stacy Burr, who was their coach and stuff. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. And here's this Holly. She's doing
That's
some.
Holly, and that's Gator in the background. He was giving us lessons that day. He was schooling us.
Hey, that's good. And he's helping you out, and and make sure y'all ladies develop and work on your form,
Right.
especially as leg day is probably one of the toughest days for any competitor or just any person who works out because it's a lot of stress and especially I got two bad knees at Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I can't do it too much. And here she is, where a UFC legend, Mr. Matt Hughes. I remember his fight with Matt Serra. That was a war. I mean, those two
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. I got to meet him. That was pretty awesome. He said he was going to
Yeah.
teach me how to wrestle. I was like, I don't think I'm down for that right now.
I don't know, Miss Terry. You're a pretty lady. I think he might be thinking of other kind of wrestling. And is that your boy there?
That's my boy. That's my boy.
Yeah, he's a handsome one. You
That's
should
him.
try him. Yeah, he's a cowboy.
He is the cowboy. That's for sure.
Have you done any rodeo stuff lately, or are you just mostly just working on a farm?
He he hadn't done any in about 3 or 4 years because his horse got crippled,
Oh,
and he hadn't bought a new horse because to do competitive rodeo, and those horses are whew, you,
expensive.
oh yeah, that's got to be to get a decent horse to compete. You're going to spend just at local shows. You're going to be spending 20, 30, $40,000 if you're going to be able to compete. And then when you start getting in the big boy group, some of those guys that are going to the national finals and stuff, they're spending upwards of $100,000 on a horse. So it's insane. It's hard to compete with that.
That's pretty much, you could spend that for the next 2 years, 3 years on bodybuilding prep. Now here
Right?
she is from the North Americans.
It's
She got
insane.
He has a
But
beautiful back.
but he loves it. So he's found him another little horse that he's starting to work with because he rides horses and shoes horses, and he's learning how to do all that. So he's going to train this horse on his own, and who knows? I mean, you never know. Maybe he'll train that horse, and it'll be top notch one day.
Yeah, here she is from the North Americans. What was the critique for the judges? Because you look very impressive. Especially a woman of 50 plus and maintaining your own in your own class.
Uh, the critiques were, I mean, they told me I had perfect conditioning. It was just working on my posing.
Hmm. Yeah, and also, yeah, that's the thing. Posing is very important. It's part of your training. Also, she took some photo sessions. As you know, Chelsea Dion, she does the photos.
Right.
Now, Chelsea.
She sure does.
Yeah, I actually got to meet Chelsea when I went to Tampa last year. I'm been a fan of hers. I believe she's planning on competing this year. I think she said she's going to do Tampa. You know, uh,
Awesome.
yeah, you got a beautiful smile. And something else is beautiful too. I'm trying to be very nice, but what was that feeling for you when you were in North Americans that day?
Oh, that was so cool, and I got to meet her and get her critique too. How can you help me? I mean, do you have? She goes, "Girl, just keep practicing the posing, keep practicing posing, and just doing what you can do. Put on, make your off season, you know, put big focus on your off season and get those, get that muscle build up and just." She goes, "It's just a never ending cycle. Next year is going to be better than this year, and the next year is going to be better than this year." So
Who is these two lovely ladies I'm looking at?
that is my mother and my grandmother. And my mother passed away in 2021, and my grandmother just passed away in January, 2 days before her 100th birthday.
Well, like I said, ma'am, you're just as pretty as your mama.
Yes.
I can feel you. My mother passed away in 2020. You know, I one thing I talk about it because she was sick for a long time, and I took care of
Right.
her. And when she was gone, I felt like I was a widower. You know, I lost my woman. And here she is. Is
Right.
this a client or a friend?
That is Callie Kaczynski. She's an IFBB pro bikini,
Mhm,
and
yeah.
she trained at Gator, and then she moved to Nashville. So she's not. She's in Nashville now.
Congratulations, bikini, that division, the girls are starting to really evolve. Look at it,
Hmm.
I think at the show, you were at the show where there was one lady, she won. There was only one lady doing bodybuilding. There was five ladies. They had enough for a pro card for physique. That one lady, I think it's her name is Chloe Hugh. I think it's Hugh Who. I hate mentioning this name. She won both in won overall for the women's physique, and she won figure.
Right.
And and if you look at it now, how the division, especially, there's a lot of talk where recently, if you follow bodybuilding, like Sarah Bradley, who won the show, then she placed amazing young lady. I mean, crazy,
Right.
just not even 30 yet, and has the divisions evolved over time? Because I remember when I started getting to this, I was following bodybuilding back in the day, which just men's bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding. And then you have people like Corey Everson and Linda
Right.
Murray and them, and then it has evolved over time. Like, other than your friends, is there anybody in the sport that you pay attention to, that you admire their work ethic, their consistency, overall their physique?
Oh my goodness! Can I just make a list? Missy Trescott, Chelsea, Dion. I get Brooke Walker. Let's see. Oh my goodness, my mind's blank right now. Of course, because I'm trying to think of them and can't think of them. But I watch all of them, and I'm just going. I'm just in awe of their dedication and just every year they're just bringing it, and they're bringing it, they're not even in the older age groups. I mean, you're seeing these women are really, really keeping their bodies just in tone, and just like I said, you look at them versus some of the younger girls, and you're like, how are they doing it? How are they doing it? You know, the younger girls, but then of course they had the muscle maturity that the younger girls don't have, but they also they're still just but they have to do the same work, but I guess it's like you're looking at these older women now, and you're like, I hate to say it that way, older women, but we are older women, and we're in those age groups, like even at the North American, in the physique division and the bodybuilding division, it seems like those classes, like in the 55 and over, those classes have probably more competitors in it in those divisions than the younger group. And I'm just wondering if it's because we're just looking at numbers, if more of them are leaning towards the bikini and now the fit pro, the fit
Um,
model.
oh, Fitma, excuse me.
Yeah,
I
fit
have an
model.
issue with that division. Excuse me. I just,
But
I'm
I'm
not
just
a
saying, I'm just wondering if more people are leaning that direction.
I would say I feel like it's a great for a starter division
Starter,
for you want to
right,
start. But truthfully, once you start hitting a point in your evolution as an athlete, I've looked one lady who when I was at Tampa last year, I got to meet her for a minute. We talked for about a minute, and that is, if I pull up here, Paula Ranta. And
right.
Paula, she's just, I think she'll be turning 27 this year. This was just last year at Tampa.
Oh wow,
Now, you got to think about it. She's still, as an old saying, she's still wet behind the ears and breast milk like
right,
Similac. She has that time to grow more. Once she hits closer to that muscle maturity,
right,
then she was figuring for a good while with the physique. And now there's a possibility that maybe in another few years she can be in bodybuilding.
right.
Uh, One lady who I'm a fan of, who I I always talk about her because I think she's so beautiful, and she kind of changed the aspects of bodybuilding for women, and that is Andrea Shaw.
Oh yeah, she's she has got it now.
I just interviewed a lady yesterday who met her a couple of years ago, a few years ago when she was at Savannah. I went to my first Bobby show back in 2022. That was Savannah Pro, and she
Right.
was there guest posing. And even though she was maybe just about 3 weeks off from doing the Rise of Phoenix that year, she still looked impressive. There was one girl there, Mona Personally could have just done the show that day because she looked really good and tight. But Andrea, like my friend Keith said, George, when Andrea's on, she's on. Also, I want to shout out to my friend Eunice of Bad Rap. We're talking about Eunice. She runs a company, Bad Rap. I always want to promote her company or brand, Bad Rap. The moniker, Big and Defined, Ripped and Pumped. We like the rip part. I ordered this towel and she put my name on it all the way.
She
George.
hooked you up.
She's a great friend. But what made me special was a few years ago, she was in Orlando when they had the Olympia. And
Right.
she got me this issue of Muscle Development.
Oh,
Andrea's,
cool.
and what makes it so special was she saw Andrea there, and this is as I quote from my other guy. He says, Miss Teri, if you give me something, never do it for free. And for me, this is why I call a payment when the champ tells me she thanks you for my support. If you,
Oh, that's awesome.
I got one for you. Tell me, she got somebody else to do it. No, people told me I sort of said, "Hey, is that her?" I said, "Yes, it's her autograph." I need to put it into a cabinet or something, but I like to keep it close to me.
Yeah. So you can go back and look at it daily.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But there's so many great women. Some of them I got the pleasure of meeting in my process as a content maker, and some of them who I came in contact with. I mean, this sport, even though I would say it's a fringe sport from the outside, but it has a growing community.
Right. I mean, I'm seeing that. I mean, like I said, it was kind of like powerlifting. I didn't even really know how many people in the state of Texas were actually powerlifting, until I got into it. But I guess if you're not doing it, you don't know. And then whenever I got here, it was kind of like bodybuilding. Well, okay, let's see if we can do this. Let's take this challenge. And then seeing the same thing like all over the state. I mean, and then just above us in Tennessee, just over the state line, we're only 20 minutes from the state line. So there's a lot of competitors up there too. Vicky Askew, she's she's a pro physique masters. So she's doing the Tampa Pro, I believe. I think she's doing Chicago Pro too, maybe.
Mhm. Yeah, I know lady Megan Russell. She's also lives in Tennessee. She's Ivy Pro. She just did Omaha last month, where she was in the top three.
Oh
Um,
wow.
she's been a pro for a couple of years. She got her pro card at Nashville. She was there that weekend, and she was showing me some pictures and showing me, hey George, check it out what's going on. I say, okay, yes, thanks. And she showed me some pictures of girls from bikini. I said, wow, these bikini girls look like more like figure. And that's why I talk about how, it's the criteria of
Right.
how each division is growing. Women's bodybuilding for the women is the ceiling,
Right.
and everyone else is still trying to get to that ceiling. But then I think it's always an issue where you've seen fewer competitors in the amateur shows because some feel like they want to go too far,
Too far.
especially
Yeah.
especially as a woman.
Right. Right. And we've whenever Holly and I are talking, we talk too much probably, but she and I we have another friend that's a pro. Um, her name's Kenya, and she was just at the Body B1 and placed second there this weekend. And we were talking about, like you said, we were talking about when like when Corey Everson was competing, she would be probably bikini now.
I would say
Or bigger.
figure, maybe figure. I would
We
say
were
figure.
going, we were going. But that's just the way things evolved. She was bodybuilding, now she'd be,
I think the era when they started out, like when Bobby first started out, the girls were actually in high heels, like
right,
the like Carla Dunlap and Richard McLeish. Those women would be considered maybe bikini, if somewhat
right,
close to a fit model. If you go up to the Corey Everson era, yeah, I think kind of like figure, and you go up to the Linda halfway to the Iris era. I would say women's physique, because one
Right.
thing I think he based the idea of women's physique on Linda Murray. And also one lady who I don't know if you heard her name is Valentina Ship-Higgin. She was a one-time heavyweight Miss Olympia. She only had that title one time, and she had a
Right.
great, very feminine, great lines. She do a lot of posing sometimes at the shows.
But it's just just how things evolve. It's just funny. So we're just going, okay, so where would we be now? If we were in the 80s, where would we be now?
Well, man, will you keep talking for a minute because I got to check on something? Just explain about what's really drives you as a bodybuilder. So I'm just going to step out for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. What drives me as a bodybuilder is the motivation to see myself improve every day. I go in to build the muscle and try to see if there's areas of weaknesses and points that I needed to work on based on critiques that I got. My quad sweep was one of those areas that we wanted to focus on this year. So I've increased the number of leg days. I do 2 leg days a week, and gonna do a glute focus day for the next couple of weeks going into my next show because that's another area I needed to focus on. My posing, of course, is what another area I'm working on. But I just felt so I was had the benefit of watching my friend Holly go through prep and stuff for her shows that she went through, and just watching her go through the process, it just kind of encouraged me. And she was a great encouragement, and having her in the gym with me. It wasn't like I was going in and training by myself. She was there to support me. She drove me to, she encouraged me to get in the gym on those days when it was rough, especially after working all day long. Got to get in the gym. We got to push through this. We've got to do this. On the days when we were sick, she was sick or I was sick. We just kind of encouraged one another to get in there because we both, this year, we was like, this year is going to be one of our best years yet, no matter what the outcome was. We're gonna push through this year, sick, crawling, no matter what. But I'm very blessed having all that encouragement and having that partner to be there. My partner in crime, be there. Well, we saw that she needed to build her back, her mid back. So we started changing some of our back day exercises to help her that way. We started changing some of the leg day exercises to help my weak areas, and it just works out. But having that person, that's what drives me. I want to be a better me every year when I come in. I'm going to do this as long as I can do it
Yeah.
because I'm too ADHD to sit at home and do nothing. I would go crazy, and I'm going to use that energy somewhere, so I might as well be doing it somewhere to help not only burn the energy but use it to benefit myself.
And have you ever think about becoming a coach, helping up people with their training and stuff like that?
I I have. Once I retire from school, whenever that might be.
You be one of those teachers that she be still around. Say you. I remember her. You're like I had a teacher, Mr. McLean, and he said to me, Mr. MacArthur, I have taught your brothers and your sisters, and then he said to my nephew, says, Mr. MacArthur, I taught your mother, your aunts and uncles. He finally retired. Rest in peace, Mr. McLean. He
Yeah,
taught.
that's what
Yeah.